something wrong?
To the man who loves art for its own sake, it is frequently in its least important and lowliest manifestations that the keenest pleasure is to be derived.
Hmm? Oh, if you say so, Holmes.
It is pleasant to me to observe, Watson, that you have so far grasped this truth, that in these little records of our cases which you have been good enough to draw up, and I am bound to say, occasionally embellished, that you have given prominence not so much to the many cause célèbre and sensational trials in which I have figured, but rather to those incidents which have given room for those faculties of deduction and logical synthesis, which I have made my special province.
Kind of you to say so, Holmes.
You have erred, perhaps. You have erred. In attempting to put color and life into each of your statements, instead of confining yourself to placing upon record that severe reasoning from cause to effect, which is really the only notable feature about the thing.
You are always in a disputatious mood when you choose that pipe. It seems to me that I've done you full justice in the matter.
No. It is not selfishness and conceit. If I claim full justice for my art, it is because crime is common, logic is rare. Therefore, it is upon logic, rather than upon crime, that you should dwell. You have degraded what should have been a course of lectures into a series of tales.
Really, Holmes, I hardly think my poor scribblings deserve that. They have, after all, made your name a household word.
Oh, sure, my dear fellow. What do the public, the great and observant public, who can hardly tell a weed by his tooth or a compositor by his left thumb, care about the finer shades of analysis and deduction? But indeed, if you are trivial, I cannot blame you. The days of the great cases are past. Man, or at least criminal man, has lost all enterprise and originality.
Oh, surely not.
I fear so. As to my little practice, it seems to be degenerating into an agency for recovering lost lead pencils and giving advice to young ladies from boarding schools.
My dear, dear friend, how can you say such a thing?
I think I have touched bottom. Finally, however, this note I had this morning marks my 0 point, I fancy.
Well, goodness, who is it from?
Read it.
Dear Mr. Holmes, I am very anxious to consult you as to whether I should or should not accept a situation which has been offered to me as a governess. I shall call at 10:30 tomorrow if I do not inconvenience you. Yours faithfully, Violet Hunter.
I must confess to being somewhat puzzled by the contents of your letter, Miss Hunter, since the matter on which you seek advice is somewhat outside my usual field of expertise.
Yes, I'm aware of that. But you will excuse my troubling you, I'm sure, since I've recently had a very strange experience.
Indeed.
As I have no parents or relations of any sort from whom I could ask advice, I thought perhaps you would be kind enough to tell me what I should do.
I shall be happy to serve you in any way I can. Pray, proceed.
There's a well-known agency for governesses in the West End called Westerways. And I've lately been calling there about once a week in order to see whether anything has turned up which might suit me. It is managed by Miss Stoper. She sits alone in her own office, and the ladies who are seeking employment wait in the anteroom and are then shown in one by one when she consults her ledgers and sees whether she has anything which might suit them.
Miss Green has been on our books for some years and has excellent references. In fact, were it not for the swift return to Kuala Lumpur of her present employer, who finds her most satisfactory, she would not be available today for your consideration. Thank you, Miss Green.
That will do. I could not ask for anything better. Oh, capital. Capital.
Splendid. Please be seated, Miss Hunter.
Now then, you're looking for a situation, miss.
Yes, sir.
As a governess.
Yes, sir.
And what salary do you ask?
I had £4 a month in my last place with Colonel Spence Munro.
He has given her an excellent reference, Mr. Rucastle.
Oh, doubtless, doubtless. But £4 a month?
If that seems too much.
Too much? Oh, tut, sweating, rank sweating. How could anyone offer so pitiful a sum to a lady of such attraction and accomplishments?
My accomplishments, sir, may be less than you imagine. A little French, a little German, music, drawing.
Oh, tut, that is quite beside the question. The point is, have you or have you not the bearing and deportment of a lady? I mean, that is it in a nutshell.
I would hope to have ladylike qualities, sir.
If you have not, then you are not fitted for the rearing of a child whose background and qualities point to a brilliant future. And if you have, how could any gentleman ask you to condescend to accept anything under 3 figures?
3 figures, sir?
Your salary with me, madam, would commence at £100 a year.
I hardly know what to say.
It has also been my custom to advance my young ladies a small portion of their salary beforehand, so that they might meet any little expenses of their journey and their wardrobe.
Thank you, sir.
May I ask where you live?
Oh, Hampshire. Charming rural place, the Copper Beeches. 5 miles on the further side of Winchester. Oh, it is the most lovely country, my dear young lady. And the dearest old country house.
And my duties, sir. I should be glad to know what they would be.
One child. One dear little romper, just 6 years old.
How charming.
Oh, Miss Stoper. If you could only see him killing cockroaches with his slipper. 3 of them gone before you could wink.
Very clever.
My sole duties, then, are to take charge of a single child?
Oh, no. Not so, my dear young lady.
Oh. What else, then?
Well, your duty would be, as I'm sure your good sense would suggest, to obey any little commands that my wife might give.
You said commands.
Provided, of course, that they were such commands as any young lady might with propriety obey. You see no difficulty?
None. Whatsoever.
I should be happy to make myself useful.
Quite so. In dress, for example. We're fatty people, you know, Miss Hunter. Fatty, but kind-hearted. And if you were asked to wear any dress that we might give you, you'd not object to our little whims, eh?
Why, no.
Or to sit here, or to sit there. And that'll not be offensive to you.
No?
Or to cut your hair quite short before you come to us.
Cut my hair.
Quite short.
Oh, I'm afraid that's quite impossible.
And I'm afraid it is quite essential. Oh, it's a little fancy of my wife's. The latest fancies, my dear madam. Latest fancies must be consulted. So you won't cut your hair?
No, sir, I'm afraid I could not.
Ah, well. It is a pity. Because in other respects, you might have done very nicely. In that case, Miss Stoper, I'd best inspect some more of your ladies.
Miss Hunter, do you desire your name to be kept upon our books?
If you please, Miss Stoper.
Oh, really? It seems rather useless. Since you refused the most excellent offer in this fashion, you could hardly expect us to exert ourselves to find another such opening for you.
I'm sorry, Miss Stoper, but my
Good
hair...
day, Miss Hunter.
Now, why on earth